it's Delina with Arizona Desert Gems. Today we're going to be making these quick and easy copper minimalist earrings. So you're going to need some things, a pipe cutter, some hammers, some copper tubing, some drill bits, a bench block, some sandpaper, and if you make your own earrings, copper wire, 20 gauge, a ruler, and then I'll tell you a little bit about annealing. But here's the copper tubing we're going to be using. It's about 1/4 inch in diameter, and it is refrigeration tubing, solid copper. You can get it at Home Depot or Lowe's, one of those types of hardware stores. And I'm using a Sharpie to mark off 1 1/4 inches. So now we're going to be using our pipe cutter. You can open it up with the screw on the back side. So we're just going to open this up, and that little round part is the blade. Now there's 2 rollers, and I'm fitting the pipe right between the 2 rollers with the mark that we made for our measurement right next to that center black blade. So just screw it in slowly, make it line up nice and neat, and then you're going to feel it snug up against the pipe. Now you don't want it horribly tight, but just finger tight. Swirl it around probably 2 times, and then you're going to tighten the knob about 1/4 turn. Again, you're going to feel the difference as it cuts. You're going to feel it get easier and looser to turn the pipe cutter around the pipe, and then when you turn it with the knob, you're going to feel it get tight again, finger tight. Just a couple turns and we're almost done. This works on many sizes of pipe. So here you can see it's getting easier and easier, and then it finally just makes that last cut. So easy. Now if you have a saw, you can use a saw. So now we're ready to hammer them flat. So we're going to use a steel bench block. I've got some padding under it. Now you can use a large hammer like this, or you can use your planishing hammer with the smooth domed face. I'm going to go ahead and use the larger one. I'm not really too concerned about leaving a few marks because I do want them pretty rustic. You can see the copper tubing is pretty soft, so it's not taking a lot to hammer it down, and I didn't have to anneal it before I started to hammer. But I'm just kind of making sure on both sides I'm getting it smashed flat. So take your time, pay attention to the edges where it has a fold, and then you can see there it's nice and flat, the rectangle shape that we wanted for these minimalist earrings. I do want to say that the hammering work hardens it, and so I did have to anneal them with heat and then quench and pickle them. Here I'm taking a nylon hammer to just hammer the sides so that it becomes more flat, because sometimes when you hammer things you might be a little bit off and it can curve. But see, now we've got 2 nice parallel sides. We need to make a punch because we need to drill in a hole so that we can put the ear wires on. I'm just using a nail and my brass hammer, a couple nice whacks, and you're going to see that you've made a little divot there, and then that way your drill bit won't go scattering around. When you are using a drill bit, you want to make sure that you have a lubrication on it. This is a number 60 drill bit, and I have it in my rotary tool. And we're just going to go ahead and drill. Now this is going to take some time because this is going through 2 fairly thick pieces of metal. So take your time, don't push, use lots of the lubricant, and then you'll get through nicely. I knew that I was going to texture these, so that's why I wasn't too concerned about the surface. So I'm using a very small texturing hammer to make some horizontal lines across the metal. Now, I like to start in the middle because when you hit the metal, it's going to spread. So if you start hammering from the middle and then go out towards the edges, you'll get less distortion in your piece and it'll stay truer to the shape that you actually want. Okay, so one is nicely textured. And you can see how I overlapped things. I wasn't too concerned, but I did keep them all in that horizontal plane. So go ahead and make your second one as well. Whenever I'm texturing, I like to compare the two pieces to make sure they have about the same amount of hits and they look symmetrical. Now it's time to assemble them with the ear wires. I'm using some handmade ear wires, and if you like, I have a video that you can learn how to make your own handmade ear wires, or you can use store-bought ones. It's your choice. You can also buy handmade ear wires from me in my Etsy shop, and the link's in the description. So when you are opening and closing that little loop, make sure you are twisting to the side so it doesn't get out of round. But this is very simple. And now you have your brand new pair of minimalist copper earrings. If you like, you can run a brass brush over them, or some steel wool, or throw them in the tumbler to shine them up. So here they are, all nice and clean, and you can see the texture just shining nicely on them. Afterwards, I got inspired and I added some of these little copper balls to them. So here's the originals, and then the copper balls I did with a pointed hammer. As always, happy creating, and I appreciate it when you like and subscribe. And if you'd like to purchase any of the pieces that I make, and they aren't listed in my Arizona Desert Gems shop, just send me a message and I'll get a listing up for you.